right, you guys, welcome to Double Coverage. This is the NL West preview. Scott's here again.
Hello.
And we're going to do over-unders, additions, losses, and what we think the division champion and possibly even a wild card team out of this division will be. So, let's start with the dumpster fire that is the San Diego Padres. 71.5. They signed Eric Hosmer to an 8-year deal. I don't know what the meaning behind that was. I understand that Eric Hosmer already has his World Series ring, so it's a little different. But you also added the likes of Chris Young, not the one that old Pirate, not the one that old Padre fans are used to. The other Chris Young, and Chase Headley. Didn't lose anybody. So I guess that's a remote positive, but after that team season last year, I think you would want to lose a couple people.
Right.
So what are you thinking?
Oh, man, it's going to be a rough year in San Diego again.
When is it not a rough year in San Diego? I mean, the Red Sox have continuously used the NL West as a trade platform to trade people and prospects, too, that they need or just to get contracts off, whether it be the Carl Crawford trade, I just don't understand.
I'm just waiting for MLB to call and announce that they're moving to L.A.
Right? Just have an extra, just have 3.
Yeah, shit. Move your football team there.
They
were halfway decent.
You have a couple prospects there that have bright futures, but unfortunately, when you have a bright future in San Diego, they tend to either ship.
But that seems to be the San Diego way. Is let's just stockpile our farm system with great athletes, but never let our fans see them.
I feel so bad for the city of San Diego. They just got their football team taken away from them. Now they're abused and have to watch this all the time. I mean, in order to see real sports, they probably have to either go to San Diego University or San Diego State to see anything. Ugh, golly.
It's bad.
They have one of my favorite prospects in Major League Baseball, Emmanuel Margot. Possibly that's partly because he came out of that Red Sox organization, and I watched him continuously grow. But he's been cooking in that Padre organization and has not improved. He's improved incrementally since he got there, but not a whole lot.
There hasn't been a successful Padre since Tony Gwynn.
Oh man. Poor Will Myers too. Will Myers, Eric. I don't feel bad for Eric Hosmer because he's signed there.
Right. He's got 8 years and 100 and some odd million.
Yeah. I mean,
all guaranteed.
You almost feel bad for the guy because he went from Kansas City, who was a dumpster fire for the first couple years that he got there, to being in San Diego, which they're like the Royals of old, basically.
Yep.
So 71.5. This is one of those weird numbers, but they could possibly be one of the worst teams in baseball history. It's hard to lose 100 games. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under. I think this team wins I think they go 65 and 97.
They'll be down there with the Marlins.
If the Marlins get to 60.
Yeah.
That's a whole 5-minute episode by itself. I got shit to say. All right, Colorado Rockies, 80.5. That's a weird number.
It is.
It's a weird number for a team that won 87 games last year. They added Wade Davis. They lost Jonathan Lucroy and Tyler Chatwood.
Okay, Lucroy's not a big loss to me.
No, it's actually not at all. I mean, the biggest loss for Lucroy was the Rangers having to trade Brinson for him.
Right.
He hasn't been anything since that trade.
Nope.
So, let's talk. I mean, this Colorado Rockies lineup is good, but are they good because they play in Coors Field?
No, that lineup is good. Now, even with the addition of Ian Desmond last year,
I mean, as a Ranger fan, I mean, you loved Ian Desmond in Texas,
Yes.
and he played really well even last year in Colorado.
Yes.
You know, you have the likes of perennial MVP candidate. I'm going to say the word perennial because I love the word perennial, but also
Right.
because, I mean, Nolan Arenado is a perennial MVP candidate.
Yes, he is.
He could play. He's one of those people that could play anywhere. Quite possibly the best third baseman in baseball. Up there with the likes of Chris Bryant if we're talking the younger generation. And if we're talking older, I would probably put Adrian Beltre up there.
Right. Well, to me, Adrian Beltre is one of the best third basemen of all time.
Well, yeah,
He's top 3 all time.
Oh yeah, because he's done it all and he's done it everywhere. Is my thing with Beltre.
The only three that I could even put remotely above him, and it's an argument for all three, is Mike Schmidt and Brooks Robinson.
Yeah, Schmidt's one that comes to mind for me.
Mm-hmm. And Brooks Robinson in Baltimore.
Yeah. All right, so that lineup: Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Ian Desmond, Trevor Story.
Yeah, they're going to get way above 80 wins.
I think that they win. I think that they win 84, 85 games. I don't think that they blow the number out of the water. I think that their lack of pitching is gonna kind of bite them in the ass.
But they did step up their bullpen.
Now, we talked about the NL Central like an episode ago.
Mm-hmm.
We talked that it might be the best division in baseball. I'm going to sit here and argue that this might actually be the best division in the NL. I mean, you have 4 teams that are projected to win above 80 games.
Yeah.
And my other wild card team's coming out of this division, and it's not the Colorado Rockies.
No.
So I'm going over, you're going over.
Yep.
If anybody truly loves the Colorado Rockies, they are plus 650 to win the division, but you have the reigning NL Central and NL West and NL champions in the division, so that's not something I would do.
No.
You want to hear something weird?
Mm.
The San Francisco Giants, right, 83.5, have worse odds to win the division than the Colorado Rockies do.
Is
that a weird one?
That is strange.
So the Rockies also have better odds to win the pennant than the Giants do. But they have less wins. I don't know what's going on there. This Giants team added Evan Longoria and Andrew McCutchen. Also added Austin Jackson in a little quiet one. Only true loss was Denard Span. This is an aging team. This is one of 2 teams that looks like a 2012 All-Star team.
Yep.
That rotation has Mad Bum, Cueto, Samardzija. Matt Cain retired, so that was a loss. But I don't love this San Francisco Giants team. I guess it's going to determine how they gel.
San Francisco is another one of those St. Louis types.
Yeah.
Where you don't ever love their roster, but for somehow, some godforsaken reasons, or some way, they figure out a way to pull out either the division, a wild card, and they're one of those teams where if you get them in the playoffs, they're dangerous.
Well, and I want to give a lot of that credit to Bruce Bochy.
Right.
Possibly one of the best managers in Major League Baseball.
Could be the most underrated.
Oh, absolutely, because nobody talks about him. Because when the years that they're bad, they're really bad.
Yeah.
But you match with that team in the postseason, they're
going to give you trouble.
Yeah. That team has 3 World Series in the last 9 years, and that's not on accident.
No.
With very different teams, mind you.
Right.
83.5. This division's tough. I don't know.
I'm going to go under because I think they'll get 83.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I think that they're going to hang around that. They might, they're one injury away from, again, being an 80-win team, which is very...
That's actually a perfect number for them because I would have to pick them. If I had to pick them, I would pick between 82 and 84 wins for them.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to go with the under here. All right, one of my favorite teams actually last year, a team that I loved at the beginning of the year, and a team that did not let me down. Arizona Diamondbacks, 85.5 lost a big bat in J.D. Martinez to the Boston Red Sox. Thankfully, mind you. And didn't add anything. They added Gerard Dyson. That was the biggest addition, unless you want to include Avila. Which
Right.
they added Steven Souza Jr., losing Brandon Drury in the Drury trade. I mean, a lot like Arenado, they have somebody in Paul Goldschmidt that is going to compete for the MVP every year.
Yeah.
And without J.D. Martinez this year, Goldschmidt is actually going to have to carry a lot of the load.
Yeah, and that's what I think is going to do. I'm not sure he can do it.
This is a team that not a lot of people are talking about. Chase Field, a lot like Coors Field. It's not Coors Field in the altitude sense, but it's up there. But they have one of the best rotations in baseball, in my opinion, and one of the younger rotations in baseball. If you take out perennial Cy Young candidate Zach Greinke.
Right.
You know, you have Greinke, Godley, Ray, Corbin. I mean, those are 4 really good ones. Mind you, that bullpen's not great. Bullpen's not great, and that's part of the problem. And I think that's what's going to do them in.
That'll be their demise.
85.5. I'm going to go under.
Under. Yep. I have to go under too.
This next one's one of those weird teams. I don't know why it's a weird team. This team won 104 games last year. They just lost Justin Turner for 2 months. The Los Angeles Dodgers at 97.5 wins. It's hard to win 100 games in this league.
It is, especially when you're going to lose your best player for about a month and a half of the season.
Definitely their best, I would say. Definitely one of their top 3 players. I would give the nod to Seager and Bellinger. Turner all around. I mean, once he comes back, I think that this team will be okay. I would expect them to, struggle out the gate depending on their schedule. I didn't take a look at their schedule, so it really just it matters. It matters who you play.
Right.
They didn't add anybody, which
No.
which is really weird. I literally drew a shrugging emoji next to where it says additions because I couldn't find anything, like nothing at all. They lost you, Darvish.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, was it really that big of a loss?
No.
I mean, if anything, he hurt you in the World Series.
Yep.
One of the best World Series in the last couple of years, definitely.
Yep.
But, I mean, under notes I have, this is the same team as it was last year. I mean, there's nothing that's going to change that. And,
no.
I mean, Corey Seager, I expect to be in the MVP voting. One of my favorite players, actually, in Major League Baseball. But I think that they go under the number. I think that they win 95 games. And,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really challenged, but
No, not really.
I mean, they're just the best in a great division.
Yep.
So division champion Los Angeles Dodgers. You have any wild card teams?
I like Colorado coming out as a wild card team.
Do you?
Yep.
All right. Well, then we're going to go ahead and move on because I don't have a wild card team in this division. So that was your NL West recap and wins total, and I will see y'all in the next episode.